This is Jarrod Horak for the runawayhorse.com, and in this video we're going to get back to our handicapping series. I covered the exacta, I covered the trifecta in other videos. I'm going to cover the superfecta in an upcoming video, but this one we're going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to talk about synthetic tracks, specifically how to bet synthetic races and the top 5 reasons to bet on synthetic races. Now, if you were over at horseracing.nation.com, my year-end article in 2019, we covered some different things, our favorite race, our favorite moment of the year, or our top moment of 2019. And my top moment for 2019 was Michael Dickinson's speech at the Global Symposium on Racing in Arizona. Racetrack safety obviously was a big story last year. After all the problems at Santa Anita Park, they had all the breakdowns. It just exploded on social media, and a lot of problems there. They had a lot of lost days. It was just a huge story throughout the year. And so synthetic tracks started to get into the news more. Specifically on Michael Dickinson on December 10th in Arizona. He said, and I quote, he said, "The revolution against dirt has already started, but some of you haven't recognized it yet." And it had to do with a lot of things that were happening in North American racing, specifically at Santa Anita Park. And I think that the future, maybe not every track, but the future on some of the tracks, possibly even Santa Anita, could be Tapeta footings. That's Michael Dickinson's track that he invented. Very safe track. It's at Golden Gate Fields in Northern California, also owned by the same company as Santa Anita. It's also at Presque Isle Downs and Woodbine in Canada. Tracks that I cover specifically at horseracing.nation.com. I do my play of the day there, my best bet every day that there's a horse race in North America. I'm covering it in my best bet play of the day blog there. And I do a lot of races from Presque Isle Downs when they run in the winter, because I'm covering those races 7 days a week, and Presque Isle runs on some of the days like Mondays and Tuesdays that I need to find tracks. And I like playing the synthetic tracks. Woodbine is another track that I cover, Golden Gate Fields as well. So the Tapeta surface is one of my favorite surfaces. And going back to 2008, and when Santa Anita was researching for a synthetic track, I always thought they should have put in the Tapeta surface, because they did install that at Golden Gate Fields in San Francisco. Also, Michael Dickinson, very well-known trainer, very respected in the industry, and his surface, I thought, always was going to be the best choice, especially for a North American track. It was already proven here, but they went with the Australian Pro Ride surface. They had a lot of issues with drainage. They tried a hybrid surface after that. They tried to get it to work. It didn't work. It wouldn't drain properly. They ended up switching back to dirt. If they would have put the Tapeta surface in the first place, they wouldn't have had these issues. And obviously, especially last year with all the breakdowns, because it's an all-weather track. It can handle a variety of weather. And you look where it is in North America. It sits in Golden Gate Fields in San Francisco, Presque Isle Downs in Erie, Pennsylvania, Woodbine in Canada. Different weather there all the time. Presque Isle gets hot in the summer, Golden Gate Fields as well. Golden Gate gets some rain. Woodbine gets all kinds of weather. They run in the winter there, and it's very cold with snow, but it's just held up well on a variety of weather. So it's definitely a track that, a surface that's very safe. And getting back to this video, the top 5 reasons to bet on synthetic races, the number 1 reason is safety. If you're following horse racing, one of your main concerns should always be safety. I mean, if we don't have safety, we don't have horse racing. If you're in the industry like me, you don't have a job. If you're a horse player, if it's not safe and tracks start closing, you're not going to have any horses to bet. So the safety is a big reason to play the synthetic tracks. So as horse players, one of the ways that we can support racetrack safety is to support it with our wallets by betting on these all-weather surfaces. And as I said, I like to play races at Golden Gate, Presque Isle Downs, and Woodbine. There's Poly Track, there's some other tracks, but Michael Dickinson's Tapeta surface is my preferred surface. And so now I'm going to show you some safety stats that Michael Dickinson provided these stats. So thank you to Michael Dickinson for providing these safety stats to me. You can visit his websites at tapetafootings.com, michaeldickinson.com. I'm going to have more information in the description in this video. And these stats are from the British Horse Racing Authority and Arena Racing Company. And you can see the first stat, there are 3 fatalities for 10,337 runners. That's very safe. 0 fatalities from 4,834 runners at Newmarket. 3 fatalities from 5,507 runners at Wolverhampton, and a 0.03 fatality rate over 3 years. So you can see how, just based on these stats, how safe the synthetic tracks really are. And that's got to be, as I said, that's one of the #1 reasons to play is for safety. I've been following horse racing since 1980. I've seen a lot of breakdowns over the years. Never like to see those. It's horrible anytime you see it. So anytime that we can have racing where there are less and less fatalities, it's a win-win for everybody. The second reason to bet a synthetic race is the field size. Healthier and fitter horses are going to lead to bigger field sizes and more competitive races. And that's what you see on synthetic tracks. You're even seeing that at Golden Gate. Golden Gate used to have short fields all the time. People would always make fun of it. They still do have some shorter fields sometimes, and people make fun of it sometimes. But I've seen bigger field sizes there, more competitive races, and certainly you can make some money. You have to pick your spots, but for sure, if we have tracks that are safer tracks, you're going to have healthier, fitter horses, better races. Horses will be able to run more. You see now horses, they take a lot of time between starts. The combination of medication, maybe running on tracks that are wearing them down more, is leading to horses starting fewer and fewer times. So field size is certainly another reason to bet the synthetic tracks. The third reason, there are no off tracks on all-weather surfaces. They have superior drainage that leads to an always fast surface. Turf horses frequently handle synthetic tracks, so if they get wet weather in those in the areas where the tracks that have the synthetic footing, the turf races can move to the synthetic track, and there are far fewer scratches. The turf horses typically handle the all-weather surfaces, so they're able to run anyway and still be competitive. So that's another positive, that there aren't any off tracks. You're getting fewer scratches, healthier horses. And you're seeing, as I said, even when there's a surface switch, if there are turf races scheduled, the horses still stay in the race. The fourth reason to play it, less frequent speed biases. The synthetic tracks, I think they play more fair on a daily basis than dirt races. We've seen over the years, dirt races have profound biases. They'll just pop up out of nowhere, and the next day it's back to normal again. At Del Mar, you see that the tides can cause the track biases to pop up. Wet weather, sealing the track can cause speed biases or closer biases. Drying out tracks, the same thing. So you see a lot of times on dirt, the tracks are playing, you're getting wild swings in speed biases at times, where the synthetic tracks, overall, they play more fair. There's no need, because there aren't as many speed biases on a synthetic track, there's no need for a rider to just send a horse in a synthetic race. If the track's playing fair, there's just no reason to send out there. You're not getting any real advantage. So a lot of times in synthetic races, you're going to see slow early, fast late races, which is typical of how turf races are run. So that's why you see turf horses do well on all-weather surfaces. So that's another reason, the less frequent speed biases, more fair tracks. And the fifth reason, obviously, value. I think you can get a lot of value in synthetic races. Many handicappers, they're scared of synthetic surfaces. They don't understand how to play them. Dirt horses trying synthetic for the first time, they're frequently overbet. For handicappers, there's no reason to be afraid to play the synthetic surfaces. You may not have an advantage maybe on a bias or from a speed figure standpoint, because the races are usually closer at the end and more competitive, but you can make a lot of money if you know how to bet and you just understand how to play the synthetic tracks. As I said, dirt horses trying synthetic for the first time, they're frequently overbet, so they're worth trying to bet against. Especially now, if they're going to offer value, maybe you play them, but a lot of times they're overbet. You want to try to beat those horses. The horse for course angle can certainly be strong. Horses that handle synthetic in the past can come back and handle it again. And as I said earlier, turf horses do tend to transfer their form from synthetic tracks. Not always. You got to let the price dictate things. Certain sires have success with their synthetic starters. The top 5 synthetic sires of 2019, Old Forester, the top one. Silent Name was the second. Court Vision third, Giant Gizmo fourth, and Super Speedy was the fifth best synthetic sire of 2019. Jockeys and trainers with turf success, they tend to do well with their synthetic starters. Riders that show patience and do well in turf races, they can do well in synthetic, because if there's not a big speed advantage, it's more of a slow early, fast late, best finishing kick. You're looking for horses maybe to save ground and then swing out and make a move, kind of like they do on the turf course. So those are the top 5 reasons to bet synthetic tracks. Obviously, I said the number 1 reason certainly is safety. That's what this video is all about. That's what my article was all about at Horse Racing Nation. And again, check out the description in this video. You can learn a lot more. Once again, thank you to Michael Dickinson for sending the stats and contacting me and reaching out. And hopefully you enjoyed this video, and make some comments in the comment section. Talk about synthetic races. Why do you like to play them? Why don't you like to play them? Maybe I can talk you into liking synthetic tracks a little bit more, because safety is everything right now. And that will wrap up this video. I'll be back next time. I'm going to talk about the superfecta, how to play it.